We ready? Rolling. Awesome. Okay, first, can you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Palm, like palm tree, as all my friends know, and I'm Bangkokian, born and raised, and yeah, part of a rugby club. It's not just a sport for me, because my best friend, like I found my best friend from rugby. I hang out with rugby people outside of rugby seasons. It's more of a family. So basically, it's because a lot of people in the rugby team is expat. They don't have their families here. Me as a Thai person, I have my family here. I can go see them in like an hour, and that's impossible for a lot of my friends in a rugby club. So we basically choose to be each other families here. So to me, rugby is not just a sport that we compete, not just a place that we just trying to get fit for, but it's a comfort place for a lot of people that we get to spend a lot of times together. We go on holidays together. We go watch the game together. We go to dinner together. So yeah, it's more like a family. It does. I actually, to be honest, I worked out a lot before I joined rugby team. It's more of like a one-person sport. I go to the gym. I join a lot of gym, and it's just like building your own stamina. I have my own goals. This is where I wanna hit this year. But when it comes to rugby, like you can be the greatest runner, you can be the strongest person, but if you don't know how to play with your teammates, it's not how it works. It's not gonna work. It's a team sport. You gotta know your teammates. You gotta know how this person's gonna pass. You gotta know how this person's gonna run the line. You gotta know each other. So what it has done for me is that like not only I set goal for myself fitness wise, I set a goal for my teammate as well, that I'm not gonna let them down. Before each tournament, we all set a goal for ourselves. Like, oh, no more mistackling, no more dropping the ball. So everyone's before the time of the tournaments, we just practice what our weaknesses is. We just go from there. So it's more of like I start working as a team more, thinking about other people more in the team. If you get lazy one day and I'm like, oh no, like, but I have to run for my friends, I have to go support them. So that's kind of pushed you to be a better person as well. So I think as a team overall, we just push each other to be a better person, not only for yourself, but for your teammates, because you don't want to let them down. I'm pretty lucky. I start myself as a blank canvas. I know nothing about rugby. 3 years ago, know nothing. And then they were like, oh yeah, you run, but you pass backward. I'm like, how do you get forward then? Just keep running. So start every single thing from scratch when you're not a teenager anymore is kind of tough. But we have a lot of people who, so our teams, a lot of the girls are starting the first women's team in Bangkok, and it's really hard. So they know how hard it is for people to actually start from scratch, and they take good care of me really well. So that kind of like formed me into step by step. Everyone has the first day, and then now that like 3 years later, I'm a little bit more experienced. I'm still not professional. I'm a little bit more experienced. I can tell the new girls what to do and every single thing, so we can go forward as a team together. I know it's a bit of a cliche of like girls supporting girls, but it works a lot in this scenario because it's a men's sport. It's a men's world. A lot of people have to fight for their rights to be here. So I really appreciate it for a lot of my teammates that fight for our spot to be here nowadays, to be honest. At training, it's hard because you don't know. You don't go 100% at training. So you don't really know what should you embrace in that situation. How do I fall? So they'll teach you all the technical stuff in training. So like, okay, it will get hurt. Like when you fall, you'll fall. There's no going back from there. There's no like 30% fall and like, and you're fine. It's nothing like that. I think my first game was the learning phase of me. We played against the Thai national team.
Wow.
I was putting on the wing against one of the greatest runner of all time. They told me, I was like, yeah, I'll get hurt. But in my head, I was like, how bad could it be? Like famous last word. First tackle, I got up, I'm like, I get it now. So it doesn't matter how much training you go through, but every single game, the first tackle would be the one that like wakes you up like, oh yeah, we're playing now. So I don't get used to it. 3 years later, I'm not used to it. I know that my neck will get stiff. Well, I'm not that young anymore, but so like I know my neck will get stiff. Like I'm probably gonna get my shoulder like tight a little bit. But when in the game, you first tackle and then you can't feel anything anymore. The adrenaline just push through, and then next thing you know, just like chasing people around, screaming at them, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I panicked. And yeah, it's the contact part with just being things that you have to do most of the time because you feel like you have to defend the line. It's not about getting hurt or not. There's a lot of things I thought that I couldn't do. And my teammates, girls or boys, or the coaches, or just like my friend, they all told me that I can do it in the pitch. Sometime I was like, I'm gonna pass the ball. I was like, I don't think it's gonna go. But then they shouted at me, they was like, you can do it. I passed, they got it. So there's a couple of things that like I thought as like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, don't put me on, I'm fine. But then like once I go in there, I thought about like, okay, oh, the ball's there. I'll just take it out and push it back to my teammates. Like there's a couple of things I think I couldn't do, but I could. And I got the support and like just kind of like empowerment from the team. So that's kind of very helpful in terms of like pushing through in mental, because a lot of people feel like insecure. Like it's not a sport that I grew up with, right? So I'm definitely like blank canvas when it comes to rugby or when it comes to other sport. So I'll take every single thing in. So mentally I'm like, okay, like learning phase, I'll do that, I'll do this. And everyone's like, yeah, like you'll be fine, like you can do it. So I was like, okay, I can do it. And then I could, so it's great. To drink from the left hand. So we have a rule of drinking from only left hand. If you don't drink from your left hand, you have to hold like the whole glass down. And it's crazy, believe me, do not. If you see rugby people, don't go in there drinking from your right hand, they'll tell you off. No, I'm kidding. So I'll tell them, it's very, very open society. We not only just like rugby, but deep in the communities of rugby people, you'll find a group of friends that you actually like the same thing. Like one of my good friends, Daniel, obsessed with Taylor Swift. I would never find anyone else in Thailand who is obsessed with Taylor Swift, and we're like good friends. A couple of people like same books, so we always like see each other. We just like talk about books. We work in the same industry. Like not all of us are teachers, or there's a couple of professions in the rugby teams as well. So like they can help you with the networkings if you need a job, if you need help, if you need any suggestions or advice on anything like that. It's just great. So if like I was to introduce someone to be like to come and meet my friend, I was just like, yeah, because I was chill, like you'll be okay, but drink from your left. If you don't want to get too drunk, just stick to your left hand.
Last thing, how does someone get into rugby?
Well, you can just go on Google, search for Bangkok Rugby, or actually you can join us at Bangkok Bangers Rugby Club, or if you're girls, we're the Bangkok Banger Bells. We're on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. You can find us on Sukhumvit Street. We're sneaking into every single sleigh that you are in. Maybe they're your teachers, maybe they're your partners at work. Yeah, just come enjoy, search for rugby. If you're scared of contact, try touch. We have a couple of teams in Bangkok, so just join as your preferences. We're not forcing you to join a team. Just join the sport. Oh, it's fun. Trust me.